I think one of the things that I'm trying to drill in, and I think one of the things I picked up on is,
Mm,
um, you know, one of the things that guys like in women is traditionally feminine traits and traditionally feminine qualities, right?
mm,
So things like culinary skills, right? Do you keep your
mm,
hair long? Do you wear
mm,
makeup on a daily
mm,
basis? Like getting in the gym and trying to get in shape and get fit, it's always great. Like the first thing
mm,
guys are going to see is your physicality and sort of on
mm,
the surface. Um, but I can tell if you're meeting guys like online and sort of like through the forums that may be a little bit of a buffer for you
mm,
where you're not necessarily like meeting guys out in the wild and meeting. And again, I know it's different country, different culture, so I'm not 100%
mm,
familiar. Um, but I don't get the sense that there's a ton of sort of natural femininity and sort of natural feminine essence coming from you. And I
mm.
don't know if that's just by nature of being in a relationship for so long that you become kind of like the homebody, and that's kind of being online. Um, you know, growing up, what was it like? Is your mother and father together? Is the traditional feminine masculine relationship? Like, what was that like?
Oh no, oh boy.
And if I'm prying, say
No,
no
no,
more.
no, no,
I'm
no.
just kind of
Sorry,
curious.
it's just no. Oh boy. My mother has been married 3 times. Um, Neither of the husbands is my biological father, and for her, she's used to running the show. So she's the head of household. She always sat at the head of the table, and it was always like a power struggle between her and whoever she was with about like who runs the family.
Including your dad.
Um, the thing is, I don't actually know
Okay,
my father. Like it was so like husband number one adopted me.
gotcha.
So I don't yeah. So like I
Okay,
know who he is, but I
Do you
don't
have any
like
siblings? Do you have any brothers or sisters?
no, my mother only wanted me and she only wanted a girl.
So she got that, and then she was done.
Yeah.
Okay. How old was she when she had you?
She was 23.
Young.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um yeah. She told me at one point that she was pregnant once before me, but that she ended that pregnancy because she felt she wasn't ready, but apparently she felt ready when she was pregnant with me. So I survived.
So you made it.
What you said about disrespect, my mother did it with every man she's ever been with
Yeah.
that I know of.
I mean, very strong women like that will tend to be disrespectful towards men because they
Yeah.
look down on them, right? And
Yeah.
the last thing a guy wants, especially if he's in a relationship, like even if it's a mother-in-law, but the last thing a guy wants is for a woman to look down on him.
Well, the thing is, I didn't look down on him, but obviously with my mother, if she's used to looking down even on her husband, why would she treat a potential son-in-law
Exactly.
any
nailed it.
better?
Yeah.
So I am aware, like my mother is not a peach. She's a pretty strong
You got to be
person.
aware of that, though, right? I mean, like if you have a family member that is potentially going to throw a monkey wrench in your relationship or
Mm,
going to jeopardize it
mm,
because of their stance or their behavior
mm,
or anything that they could say that you've heard them say before, which
mm,
would be detrimental. You've got to manage that. Like you got to, like you have
mm,
to. I mean, at the risk of you know stepping into your world, I
mm,
would be like, Ma, if you talk to guys
mm.
that I bring to your house like that in the future, you're not going to see me again. I'm not
Oh
going to bring
no,
guys by.
I was very sensitive about that. I would immediately like my if my mother wanted to say anything about him,
Mhm.
I would jump on it. I was not down for it whatsoever. Obviously, I knew she would talk shit about him anyway to other people. I knew that.
Yeah.
But she wouldn't do it to me because she knew I would immediately, but obviously he still knew that
Yeah, he
she
knew what
did.
was going on, and even if it was suppressed, there might have been an undertone with it, right? Like it's
Yeah,
going to be
like
problematic.
it was still there.
Yeah.
So, and he says that she's like obviously a lot of things that I don't want to mention right now, but she's also a factor as to why
Why you
he
guys broke up?
why he decided to break
Yeah,
up.
I get that. Yeah, I get that vibe. All right.
But at the same time, sorry, last thing.
Mhm.
At the same time, he also had his father is not a peach either, let's say. Like, so, it's a bit, to me, him mentioning my mother, like, obviously she's my mother. I love her despite her qualities. But at the same time, his father, like, I don't want to bring it all up, but like, his father wasn't that great either. So he makes such a fuss about my mother when my potential in-laws aren't great either.
Yeah, then you end up getting into like the oppression Olympics where it's like, my family's worse or your family's worse. And,
No,
I want the gold medal for the shittiest family sort of thing. It's like, if you recognize that there's shit people in your life, it doesn't even matter if they're family. Like if you share DNA and they're going to create havoc in your relationship, it's on your responsibility as that person that recognizes that family member is toxic to just not expose people to that.
Yeah.
Or if you have to, if it's like a wedding or like Christmas or some shit like that, it's going to be like, look, we're going to be there for a few hours. If you open your mouth and say anything that's going to be disrespectful, we're just going to pick up our shit and we're going to leave, and we're not going to do Christmas here again. Right? Like, I just want to make that clear, and you set the tone, right? It's totally fine to do stuff like that.
Yeah. No, that's sort of the conclusion I've come to that will be necessary for any future guy.
There you go. I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full-length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here. And pinned down below in the top comment, you'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line, books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.